Welcome to Work From Your Happy Place, the podcast that equips you with the tools, know-how, and motivation to live your dreams and find your happy place. Be sure to sign up for our free weekly newsletter for a recap of the week's guests and a preview of what's in store. To sign up, simply text the word Happy Place with no space to 33444. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the host of Work From Your Happy Place, Belinda Ellsworth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Work From Your Happy Place. I'm your host, Belinda, and you're going to enjoy our show today. I have Mehak Vohra with me today. And Mehak dropped out of Purdue University's computer science program at 19 years old to pursue startups. As the CEO of Jamocha Media, she took the tech world by storm in her early 20s and generated 10 million views on LinkedIn for herself and her clients. After running her LinkedIn marketing agency for 4 years, she decided to start SkillBank. SkillBank is a 15-week free upfront marketing program that helps people break into marketing and reach their goals. She was also named one of Forbes' 10 Gen Z experts you should be following. She is a 2017 Theo Fellowship finalist and has been featured on ABC, Forbes, Adweek, Awesomeness TV, Huffington Post as a consultant for personal branding, Gen Z, and business-to-business growth marketing. It is my pleasure to welcome Mehak to our show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so let's just dive right in here. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and a little bit more about this journey and then how you're helping people today?
Yeah, my name is Mehak Vohra. My journey starts off with I was studying computer science at Purdue, and I had always felt like college just wasn't the right place for me. While I was there, I was learning a lot more, building projects by myself on the weekends, and it's just that classroom environment wasn't the best place for me to learn and grow. So after my sophomore year, I convinced my parents into letting me take 6 months off of school to move to San Francisco and figure things out for myself. And within that time, I was able to start generating revenue, start building a life for myself. And fast forward a couple of years later, when my friends were graduating from college, I realized I was a little bit further ahead of them professionally. I had made more contacts while I was out in the Bay. I had started to, I felt like I had grown up a lot more within those last few years compared to them. And they were hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. They, they were joining these entry-level jobs, whereas with me, I had gotten that experience under my belt. I had started to move up the pay ladder a little bit. And that's what ended up leading me into wanting to start my current business, which is called SkillBank. And we teach people growth marketing in 15 weeks for completely free up front. And once we help you land a job making over $40,000 per year, you start to pay back 10% of your salary over 2 years. So we're placing people in paid media roles. So we're helping you learn Facebook ads and Google ads, and then helping you land demand generation jobs at agencies and tech startups.
Fantastic. And that's been a successful model for you?
Yeah. We just launched maybe about a year and a half ago. So yeah, we're now just graduating students and starting to place them. But yeah, so far so good.
Oh, that is great. So tell us a little bit about how the business then has shaped your lifestyle today.
Yeah, it's the best part about running a boot camp is I get to work with so many amazing people from across the U.S. We have students from Florida all the way to here in California, and I think the biggest way that it shaped my life is it's really shown me that I think people can come from anywhere and can, as long as you're motivated and you're willing to put in the time and the effort, you can make a life for yourself, and you can change the trajectory of your life. And I think just watching how hard our fellows work and the work and effort they put into it, it's incredibly motivating.
Oh, that's great. So we always like to talk about superpowers on the show. So what you've identified kind of as your superpower skill sets that have really allowed you to, really focus in on what you're doing and achieve the success that you have.
I think my biggest superpower has just always been I've just always been really motivated to succeed. I remember being a little kid and like staring out the window and just thinking about like, all right, like how am I gonna make that next time? Like how am I gonna get people to recognize me and recognize what I'm doing, what I want to do. And yeah, I mean, I think I just never gave up. And my mom always used to have the saying with me growing up, where she'd say, "For every 100 no's, you're going to get a yes." And I've always just really taken that to heart. So it's like I'd put myself out there, I'd try new things, and if I get that no, it's like, all right, that's totally fine. I'll find there's someone out of the next 99 people that are going to give me a yes. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think when you look at life that way, it's more about you going after life rather than life coming to you.
Great. So let's talk about a couple of these outstanding accomplishments and things that are super meaningful for you. So does one stand out for you?
I mean, I think the biggest right now has just been, I think, starting SkillBank and helping people get to that next job. When I first dropped out and I was featured in Forbes, I mean, I think that was like a really big moment for my parents, to look at that and say like, oh, okay, like she's not just like moving to San Francisco and like screwing around with her friends. Um, like she's actually like going out there and working and like trying to figure things out. So yeah, I mean, I think everything up to this point has been a learning experience and has been something that's helping me into building the company that we want to build today. Whether it was like managing my agency and like working with people and learning how to actually like manage people going into this business, or working with clients, or even just knowing how agencies work, so we actually know that we're placing our students into good roles. I think everything has led me into starting this business today and to really actually helping changing people's lives for the better.
That's great. So when Forbes first reached out to you then and sort of featured you in their magazine, as I'm guessing, is that when it was one of the top 10 Gen Z experts to follow, like what were you doing at that time that grabbed their attention?
Yeah, I just started this agency. So like the agency that I used to run actually before starting SkillBank was it was a LinkedIn consultancy. So we'd ghostwrite for CEOs and VCs on LinkedIn and then help them generate views and get deal flow or get clients. And at the time, I was like 20 years old and running this black market for LinkedIn views, basically.
Wow.
And yeah, I think at the time, especially back in 2016, this was like before it was cool to drop out, and like before it was cool to, I think, like be a part of the tech industry, be like a young software engineer. Like the only people before that time that had done it was like Mark Zuckerberg, and there's like a couple of other people, but like it was looked at as being like, oh, you have to make it really big to drop out. Like like you're taking a huge bet on yourself. Whereas today it's like, oh hey, as long as you're making some money, like it doesn't really make sense to go to college, especially after COVID, to spend like so much money to get that degree, especially within the tech industry. So I think at that time, being a teenager that had just dropped out, and I was working with really really prominent people in the tech industry. I think that's what I think started to generate some eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. And do you still like LinkedIn as a platform?
Yeah, I wish I posted more on there, especially because like back in the day, I was posting there every day. But yeah, I think it's still a good platform. I think the value prop of it has changed, and I think that the content on there now has become a lot more clickbaity. But yeah, still a good platform, I think, to connect with people.
I have found it to be a hard platform to build. I've been doing it pretty consistently. Right about when COVID happened, I decided, okay, I'm going to really build my presence on LinkedIn versus some of the other social media platforms. And I just have found it a little slower go. And any advice on that in sort of building up that following or building up that platform?
Yeah, I think the biggest is engaging with other people that are within your niche. So, The thing that we used to do at Jamocha was, let's say we had 10 investors that were investing in consumer startups. We'd go in and have them like each other's posts. Like, we built a bot that would go in and automatically like everyone else's posts. And what that did was it helped them all share their own audiences, because LinkedIn at the end of the day it's an engagement platform. So if you can get a lot of engagement on your post as soon as you're posting it, that signals LinkedIn to then show it to more people. So yeah, I think that's the first really big thing, is really just like finding as much engagement as you can get immediately as you post the content. The second thing is how, like, creating content that's really engaging and will get people to post. So like, we would make posts around like, hey, we just dropped this guide on how to work from home effectively. Comment down below like, I want it, and I'll message it to you. And we'd get like 200 or 300 comments from that, because it was showing LinkedIn, hey, people are engaging with my post, but really it was actually them just engaging to get a piece of content from you. So there's a lot of different ways that you can hack the platform to make LinkedIn believe that you're getting more engagement than you actually are. And that's how we'd kick off a lot of our clients' channels.
All right, so let's talk about one of your greatest challenges, and how did you work through that?
There's been a lot of challenges over the span of the last 5 years. I think things have been a little bit easier now, like when starting SkillBank, and I think the place that we're in and their team that we're growing. But when I first dropped out of college, it was me $1,000 in my bank account that I'd saved up, and like a blow up mattress in the middle of this like SF apartment. And I think, over the span of the last 5 years, I've been constantly tested on, is this like the right place for me to be? Like, I could have taken the easy path, and I could have, stayed in college. I could have gotten that degree. I could have gone and gotten a cushy software engineering job. So yeah, I think the biggest challenges have just been like me really getting faced with, is this the right place for me to be? Am I doing this correctly? And I think today it shows up in different ways, other than like, hey, am I financially stable? More so, it's like, hey, like the people on my team have a lot of experience. Like they're much older than I am. They've done a lot more. Am I doing right by them? Am I a good leader? Am I showcasing my skills in the right way to actually help us get to that next level? And yeah, I think just as like challenges have been thrown at me, it's always just been about, I think, just being really honest with myself about where I am and where we're headed. And yeah, I think, and then just using that as a way to motivate me and push me to be better.
That's great. So take us just down that a little bit, because that is, I think there's a lot of people listening, especially a lot of young people, that are probably feeling the way that you do, but don't have a single clue on exactly how to get there, let's say. So you've just dropped out of college. You moved to San Francisco. You're living in a blow-up mattress in an apartment. What do? Just go out and start hunting for a job? And did you come up against a lot of pushback that you didn't have a degree? I mean, what did that look like?
Yeah, so when I first dropped out, for the first 3 months, I actually had a data engineering internship, so that helped with paying for a little bit. But what I started doing was, it was over the summer, and a lot of the investment firms out here would throw their summer parties. So I would show up to those summer parties and then just start talking to people. And I really took advantage of the fact that I was a 19-year-old kid. Like it was one of those things where like people wouldn't turn me away. Instead, it was like, oh hey, yeah, like tell us more. Like, what are you doing out here? And once I'd get into these conversations, I'd say like, hey, I'm trying to start this marketing agency. Like, I want to work. Can I are any of your startups right now looking for marketing help? And it took a couple of years for me to pivot into just doing LinkedIn marketing. And that was after my profile took off. But originally it was like, hey, you're looking for Facebook ads? Like, sure, we can do that. And then like I'd spend all night Googling about it and then doing Facebook ads for them. And I looked at this agency as basically like, it was just me in the beginning for the first year and a half. And I looked at it as being a vehicle for me to learn and to just try different things. it was an opportunity for me to learn on someone else's dime. So instead of like paying for college to teach me something and then help me get a job 4 years later, instead of people were paying me to learn how to do something.
Right.
And I could pick and choose my education. So yeah, I mean, it started off really with just like, hey, I'll do this for you for free. And then if I start to drive results, like start paying me. And that's how I slowly started to build a name for myself, and get people to start working with me on longer term contracts, and building out more of a brand.
Great. So explain to us then and our listeners exactly how SkillBank works today. Like if somebody said, oh gosh, that sounds really interesting, how would they go about being a part of that program?
Yeah, so to apply for SkillBank, you just head over to our website, joinskillbank.com. We have an application process. It probably takes about like 10 to 15 minutes to completely fill out that application, so pretty quick. And then from there, if we look like you're a good fit, our admissions counselor will reach out to you and schedule an interview. And yeah, from there, we have cohorts starting every 6 weeks. And the program itself is we're teaching paid media. So you'll learn Facebook ads and Google ads, and you'll learn how to drive traffic to a product that you're working on, or a startup that you're at, and help them, bring in more clients or bring in more users.
Great. So this is kind of our signature question of the show, and that is, what does working from your happy place mean to you?
I love this question. Working from my happy place for me just means that I'm learning and I'm growing every single day. And I think that's the biggest thing you can ask for in whatever you're working on and in whatever you're doing. I think the day that I stop feeling like I'm learning, or the day that I feel like my growth has been stunted, I'm no longer working from my happy place anymore. And I think that's the whole reason that like we should be working at the end of the day. It's to bring us new opportunities and to get us to a different place in our life. So to me, that's always front and center and what I'm thinking about.
Great. I think that's an important lesson. No matter what age you are or how far you go in your career, once you stop learning, you stop growing. And once you stop growing, you just become disengaged. So I think it's just a good lesson for everybody to keep in mind, no matter what age they are or what part of their journey they're on. And at any age, you can start a brand new journey. I think that's one of the things I think COVID has done, maybe more than anything in the business world, has really allowed people to reevaluate what they do and why they're doing it. And is it something they want to keep on doing?
Absolutely. We've even seen with SkillBank, we've had fellows come in that are as young as 19 and as old as 60. And it shows us that like, yeah, you don't have to really conform to society anymore. Like if there's something that you're really passionate about and something that you really want to do, there's so many resources out there now for you to actually like go out there, chase your dreams, and get to that next phase in life.
Great. So what advice would you give to others wanting to sort of follow this entrepreneurial path?
I think the biggest thing is learn what you need to do to actually like build that thing that you want to build. For me, it was roughing it out for a few years and learning media and marketing, just working for different companies and getting that experience under my belt. I think whatever it is, don't hesitate to start, but also um, put yourself in a position where you're learning a lot, and like you're not stunning your growth. And I think that's the really big thing.
Good. So what are some new and exciting things that you're working on that you think our listeners might benefit from? And then tell our listeners where they can find you.
Yeah, so at SkillBank, we'll be launching a lot more marketing courses coming up in the next year. Life cycle marketing, organic and SEO marketing. So if you're interested in any of those fields other than paid media, definitely head over to our website and sign up for our waiting list for those two courses. If you're looking to follow me, I am at my THE and then my full name, Mehak Vohra, MEHAK VOHRA, on Twitter and Instagram, if you want to follow me there. And then if you'd like to check out SkillBank, we're at Join SkillBank on all socials, and our website is joinskillbank.com. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yes, it was certainly my pleasure. Thanks for being our guest today. And to all of our listeners out there, thanks for joining us. I hope you've gained some pearls of wisdom here and realize that you're never too old to follow your dream. So that is for sure. And you're never too young. So you follow your dream at whatever age you want to be. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to follow us or subscribe, and make sure that you share us with a friend. It's the greatest form of compliment that we can get. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Work From Your Happy Place.
Thanks for joining us at Work From Your Happy Place. If you like what you hear, please share it with your friends, and be sure to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher. For a free gift on finding your own happy place, please visit workfromyourhappyplace.com and click on the free audio button. Thanks again for listening.